What's the maximum number of knights you can have on a chessboard, such that none of them can take another one?
Oh, multiples of 8, I suppose.
I'll give you... You can try it out.
So that none...
Maximum number. What you have to do is understand what a knight's move is.
Stephen, I don't understand the question.
It's the maximum... it's the maximum number of knights you would have on a chessboard, such that none can take the other. Have you noticed something in common with the ones you're putting down?
They're all the same?
Same... OK, the same colour, so...
Yes, because a knight move must take a different colour.
Ah.
So 32?
32 is the right answer! It's really very simple when you think about it, isn't it? It's one of those things that sounds incredibly complicated that you have to work out for ages, but there you are.
I still don't understand it at all.
None of these knights can take another knight.
But isn't that rather more knights than we used to?
Yes. It's a problem. It's not a real chess situation. It's if you
because they move, because the way they move, which is diagonal and up one, they move to the alternate colour.
Yes.
So if you've got all the knights on the same colour, they cannot take...
Exactly right.
Oh,
That's how, in the centre of the board, you're controlling 8 different squares there, but they're all a different colour. The knight's on a black square. So all you have to do is put them all on a black square or all on a white square.
When you move your knight, do you make a little horsey noise?
That's so sweet.
And when you move your rook...
The bishop.
When you do your queen... Hello. That's your bishop. You're getting in such trouble. You're going to get in trouble from both sides.
Oh, you are awful.
Yes. You're getting in trouble from both sides,
I'd
Richard.
say, if the Bishop of Peterborough is watching this evening, you'll have my resignation on your desk. Isn't there a version of chess for kind of chess heads called fairy chess, where the pieces do more things?
Oh,
fairy chess pieces. I'm not making this up, I'm sure this is true. So there's a version of chess where you can call these fairy pieces, and they can do extra things.
How many drugs did you take when you were hanging with the chess? So you could just go, you're playing chess, and suddenly you go, no, we're playing fairy chess now.
Yeah, well, you don't have to touch the pieces.
The whole point of chess is its limitations.
Yes.
It's all about the strictness. Which
You know, but hang on, Mrs. Poker player Victoria Coren Mitchell. Aren't there versions of poker where they kind of introduce wild cards and stuff to kind of get it? It's the same sort of thing.
And poker's different. As Martin Amis once said, in chess, the properties of a bishop are fixed. In poker, it's all wobbled through the prism of personality.
Well, you haven't obviously checked.
Beautiful quote. Beautiful quote. But do you know when he said that, Stephen? It was after a poker game that you and I and he
Yes,
all
I remember
played
in Wales
many
with the
years
then
ago.
unknown Ricky Gervais.
Ricky Gervais, who was knocked out, got up, said, "What am I supposed to do now?" And you said, "There's a shotgun in the drawer."
Don't you not want some points or not? Charles is writing it down.
difficult to say yes or
What do you reckon?
3 negatives.
Yes. Don't you not want some points or not? Do you not want some...
Do you not want some points?
Or not?
Do you not?
Do you not?
Well, we also don't know whether he does or not.
Yes.
Don't you not want some
Points or not?
Or not?
Do not want points.
So here's the thing.
It's true to say that I do not want points.
Yes. So or not would mean that you do.
You'd say, do you want points or not?
No, yes, but
So the answer is... Well, there's 2 questions.
No, it's just one question with one answer, but I just tell you now, one answer has a klaxon and one doesn't. I'm giving too much away here.
Can we help
The
him?
show's nearly over. I'm filibustering.
Just,
You
yes.
asked the question in English.
I did, yes.
English, there are 500,000 words in the Oxford English Dictionary. It is the largest language in the world.
Yes.
1,000 times no.
Oh, yes. Have you thought of that?
Yes.
Yes is the right answer. Yes.
Yes isn't the right answer.
Oh.
It's not a yes-no question.
No, that's what I thought.
But fundamentally, yes is better than no, is where my head's going. Although I was enjoying Giles's...
But curiously, the answer would have been different.
I didn't mean I'd come back to it. I wasn't enjoying it that much.
But interestingly, the answer in French would have been yes. Oh, no, no.
In French, you could have said I don't know, which is je ne sais pas, which is a double negative. Or.
But if you translate, what did you originally say?
Is it too early to lose the will to live?
I'm extremely concerned, Sandy,
Yes.
that you,
Yes.
a role model for women everywhere,
Yes.
should, in fleshing out the double negative, come out with a statement broadly, yes is better than no. That's not what I'll be telling my daughter.
There's a lot of these in pop, aren't there? A lot of these in pop and rock lyrics.
Yes,
There's
so-
lots of I can't get no satisfaction.
Yes, there is. And if it's a positive double negative, like Tom Jones's It's Not Unusual, that's fine, OK? Because basically...
Why is that fine?
Well, it never used to be a problem, the double negative. And then in the 18th century, they became obsessed with mathematics, and it's to do with mathematics.
Oh.
So they began to codify the language as being illogical if it didn't fit with mathematical thinking. So in mathematics, minus a minus is a plus.
Oh, do this in Danish.
Okay. Yeah. Så de tænkte mange år siden, at... I can do it. No, I won't do it now.
If you do that, I think I've had a stroke.
No.
I always just think there's a body being found as soon as
You can almost feel the wind on the bridge.
And now, in honour of Victoria, QI does only connect. Cue music. Greatest programme on television after QI.
hello.
Yes. Does that ring any bells with you? So could you
yeah.
choose, please, an Egyptian hieroglyph?
Oh, my goodness, I've never had the chance to do this before.
Yeah.
Obviously,
Yeah.
the Eye of Horus.
Eye of Horus it is. You have to find the connection between these 5 things. First, John F. Kennedy profiles in courage. Lots of points, of course, if you get it from 1. All right? Anybody else is allowed to buzz, of course, if they think they know. And the second one, Schumann theme and variations in E-flat. Whoa. What's that patronising Jack?
You can all piss off.
What's it got to do with the Eye of Horus?
You know, that's you choose. Have you never watched? You've never watched Only Connect?
Not a whole one, no.
Not the whole. All you have to do is find what's in common. But Only Connect, literally.
Well, I think the F stands for his middle name.
I don't know about Schumann, but if I was on a team on Only Connect, I'd ask them, is it like the second thing they wrote?
Oh, that's very good.
Stephen, in my head, is Schumann a composer?
Thank you. Robert Schumann.
Robert Schumann.
So let's have the third one, because I don't think you get it from 2. John Prescott, Prezza.
Goodness me.
Schumann's nickname is theme and variation.
Was that one of the Sugar Babes lineups?
So I think we better have a look at the 4th one. Fewer points, but this might help. Alcoholics Anonymous on the 12 steps. The last one will give it to you. So the last one is only for 1 point.
You can see why I never got to the end of this show.
No, you see the last one, and I think... All right, struggle for the buzzer.
They were high Ghost Fighters!
Yes! Well done, John. Steady. Whoa. You've made a happy man feel very old. 1984. Hands up if you read 1984. Wow, that's pretty good. How many? Yeah. The fact is, research on several occasions show that at least a quarter of the people who claim to have read 1984 are lying. So I'm afraid we have to take points away from you. Yeah. Can you put your hand up if you said you'd read it, but actually secretly you haven't?
Oh, come on.
Come on.
You look very sickly.
The honest man in the back has earned some of the audience. I have to confess here, I studied English at university. I haven't read it.
I should hope not. What kind of English degree would include something written as late as 1940?
Well, that's true. Yes, we read things written in 1370. But I kind of felt I didn't need to, which is an appalling thing to say.
Oh, it's terribly good, Stephen.
Well, I kind of... I
Look at
know...
all the TV shows named after it.
2, at least. Room 101 and Big Brother.
Oh, that's ruined mine.
Oh, sorry. I know how it opens. It opens with the clock striking 13. I know the character's
Really
called
good, and
Winston.
they made a film of it with John Hurt.
Yeah.
It's hard to bother, isn't it, when there's a great film of a book? I was the same with A Muppet Christmas Carol. I feel it's been done.
Why would you
I know
bother?
what the turkey does in the story. Why read it?
It is a masterpiece of a film, it has to be said.
I lie a lot to impress people. And I'll be honest now, I have never read The Hungry Caterpillar. I get so close to the end, and I get too emotional. I'm like, he's gonna die. He's overfed himself. I can't do it, and I stop. So I just pretend that I've read it.
No, he
I don't know
becomes a
what happens.
butterfly.
Is he carries himself?
Spoiler!
So sorry, that was wrong of me. I knew someone who gave away the end of Psycho. It's nearly as serious as that.
There are some books that you don't need to bother reading, like good books that you don't need to bother reading. Like, it's controversial to say it, but I don't think Harry Potter is worth reading. It is so expertly narrated on the audiobook.
You're so right.
No, but I do, after I listen to the Harry Potter books, with you narrating them, everything in my life is narrated by Stephen Fry. All my thoughts, my internal monologue is now Stephen Fry's voice. Even the dirty thoughts are Stephen's voice. Because it makes it acceptable. I had a sexual thought the other day, I put my hand in the air, I had a sexual thought about Camilla Parker Bowles. It didn't seem weird because Stephen was saying it to me.
Explain the effect of Stockholm Syndrome.
Oh, wasn't that when you identify... But you identify, if you're a victim of kidnap, you identify with your kidnappers and you sort of become weird friends.
Yeah, I mean, that is what they say.
It's from the Patty Hearst kidnap, is that where it started?
Well, it was no, because she was nothing to do with Stockholm. There was a 73 kidnapping in Stockholm, after which it was named. That's the Stockholm Four. And they defended the robbers after the event and so on. So
Because they become so inured to the
That's
system
right.
of-
And the most famous one, as you rightly say, was the heiress of William Randolph Hearst, Patty Hearst, who was kidnapped by a strange group called the Symbionese Liberation Army.
Unusually for a clergyman of the Church of England, I've had dinner with Patty Hearst.
You haven't?
I have.
Have you?
How was she? Was she
Charming.
back to normal?
Completely charming. I didn't know who she was until someone said who she was.
By the time they had coffee, she wanted to be a vicar.
She'd sort of become a kind of bohemian socialite in Los Angeles in the 1980s when I used to go there in a previous incarnation. And I met her...
When you were a rock star, a rock god.
You.
Yeah.
And I met her there. Those sort of dinners that you would go to where everyone would be weirdly famous and have no other reason to be there at all. So you'd have Patty Hearst and, I don't know,
Nancy
Andy
Reagan.
Warhol and Eddie the Eagle, you know.
Oh, that's a dinner you'd want to go to.
Definitely, definitely. But the fact is, it seems to be an aberration. It's very rare. Most people, when they're kidnapped, have nothing but feelings of complete hostility towards their captors, as you would expect.
I would feel as a clergyman sort of bound to sort
Are
of...
you a clergyman?
I would sort of feel obliged to kind of be nice to them. And
Oh, well,
sort
you
of
would, wouldn't you?
establish some rapport.
I
of
do
some
understand
kind of...
your point.
Exactly. Yes. I think your case is good in parts.
So, there was a famous figure in history, one of the most famous in history, who did certainly not have Stockholm Syndrome, who was kidnapped by pirates, and...
Johnny Depp.
No, this is a great figure in history. He was kidnapped by pirates, was held hostage, and the ransom was paid.
Give us some clues. What sort of era?
He then pursued them with a small fleet, or a number of boats, a flotilla.
Francis Drake.
No, and
Cook, Raleigh, Cook.
Nelson.
had them all crucified.
Oh.
A Roman.
Oh, it's Julius Caesar.
Julius Caesar is the right
Caesar.
answer. Yeah. And the thing is, he'd told them while he was held hostage, when I get out here, I will come back and I will crucify you. And they apparently thought it was a joke.
Who's laughing?
They didn't know their Caesar. So, one
How
tough
do you
cookie.
crucify someone if they've got hooks for hands?
They have magnets, massive magnets.
They've got one wooden leg there, haven't they? So that's not so difficult.
Why? Why was Julius Caesar kidnapped by pirates? Under what circumstances?
Yeah, it was a ransom, simply. It was a business.
But they didn't kill him. It sounds like he was harmed.
Yeah, he went after them and had them crucified. He was not a man to be trifled with, Julie.
Especially if you call him Julie, I imagine.
No, he didn't like that.
Worst thing you could do to Julius Caesar, call him Julie.
There is a suggestion of Stockholm Syndrome, Could be a sort of psychological thing in the same way that women throughout history have had to put up with being taken and seized, and that the human being is conditioned to make the best of a bad job.
Well, we've all been there.
This is a relationship, Stephen.
Now, this here, you're about to see, is the longest word in literature. What do you think it means?
Is it the Greek for that place in North Wales?
It's the Greek for that peculiar feeling when you're trapped in a labyrinth with a man with a bull's head trying to...
That minatory feeling. Minatory is an English word, of course, which means threatening, so that would be rather appropriate. Now, this is... Who's the best-known comic Greek playwright?
Aristophanes?
Aristophanes. Their first in was Alan. And this is basically lunch in ancient Greek. It actually means a dish of sliced fish, shark and remnants of dogfish head, forming a pungent, sharp-tasting mixture, laserwort, a crab with drizzled honey and thrush, and a blackbird on top, a wood pigeon, a normal pigeon, a little baked chicken head, a dab chick, another pigeon, a hare with boiled-down wine, and crunchy wings for dipping.
I'll just have the soup.
What, no feta?
And not a bottle of Retsina
I love
either.
feta, me.
That's why they went bankrupt in Greece, because it took them so long to write out the menus. They did no business.
Talking of lunch, what do we know about the word lunch? A good L word, lunch.
Luncheon?
Oh,
Yeah,
now,
yes,
you see,
luncheon is how it
interestingly-
started, yes.
Well, as a matter of fact, it isn't.
Yes.
It was lunch first, and people extended it to luncheon because they thought it sounded smarter.
Quite right.
It is. I've made a whole programme about this.
It
Honestly,
derives from an Anglo-Saxon word,
it does derive from
from
an
nuncheon.
This is like watching two great stags together.
It doesn't, but it doesn't. Where do you think the phrase ploughman's lunch comes from?
From ploughmen's having their lunch.
No, it was invented by the Milk Marketing Board, and in
that's true.
investigating
In
the
pubs and
history
pubs
of
and
that,
things. Yeah.
we discovered that that's very disputed whether lunch comes from nuncheon.
Well, until about the 18th century, the word nuncheon is used. You'll have a like nuncheon. And nuncheon has a very clear derivation. It comes from noon, as in midday, schench, which means drink. It was literally a liquid lunch, nuncheon. And it was changed, no one's quite sure why it changed to luncheon, but it did change to luncheon, and then the luncheon got dropped to lunch.
30-15 fry.
It's very convincing. I wish you'd been on the programme. The theory put forward was that they had been rolled together in people's minds, and lunch came from somewhere else, and it was made longer to sound smarter, and it was... So then people thought it was the same as the word luncheon, but not.
I don't know of any people using the word lunch before the word luncheon. That's
breakfast, isn't it?
Anyway, what we've got here is a picnic.
Yeah. Well, let's move to less disputed areas, because I'm
Or an
all
arm
prepared.
wrestle.
What's the best way to stop your car from being stolen?
Never park it, just drive it around and around.
Yeah. What you've cunningly done is avoid the obvious trap of saying you have a car alarm, because it seems that car alarms are worse than useless. In fact, we know that instinctively, don't we?
Because you ignore them.
You ignore them?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
In fact, not only that, 1% of people, when asked, said that they would actually call the police if they heard a car alarm, and 60% said that they would call up to complain about it. You would actually make a phone call, but not to say that someone's car was being stolen, but just to say what a bloody nuisance it was.
So if that's the worst thing to do, then what's the best thing to do?
Well, put in an old-fashioned lock.
Or have a rubbish car.
Or
I've
have
got
a
yeah,
terrible car.
I've got a terrible car
Yeah.
with loads of graffiti on it.
Yeah.
Someone drew a penis on the front bonnet.
A friend of mine who's married to a vicar, she came out one morning and found someone who'd written monk whore on the
Extraordinary.
monk whore.
And now on BBC One, monk hall.
Robson Green is monk whore. Did you know that actually car thieving is almost never a female occupation?
That's like a challenge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tonight, the pair of us.
Yes. I'm sure you know who that is, but...
That's Bonnie.
Bonnie, as in Bonnie and Clyde, yes. But apparently the confraternity of car thieves don't think women should be allowed... So if a woman steals a car, they can't sell it on. Because they go, no, I'm not having that. I'm not having it off you, you don't know what it's about.
So what you're saying is there's very little divide between car thieves and car salesmen.
It's a sexist bastion.
I saw this brilliant documentary about crime, and they interviewed these two young car criminals who were in jail, and they talked about what pride they took in their work, and one of them turned to the camera and said, "Some car criminals, unfortunately, give the rest of us a bad name."
To the epilogue that we call General Ignorance. Time for fingers on buzzers, please. What comes before a fall?
Pride.
It's a book of Proverbs in the King James Bible. It says, "Pride goeth before destruction, and haughty spirit before a fall." And there you are.
Well,
I know.
nitpicking, isn't
It is. Welcome to QI, Mr. Davis. We pick nits like no one else. The things that are misquoted are rather fun. There's a 2009 survey that found that the most common misquote is mispronouncing the phrase damp squib as damp squid. Oh, yeah, it was a bit of a damp squid.
What kind of idiot would say that?
What?
I've definitely said that.
It would mean something completely different, because you want a squid to be damp.
Well, yeah,
don't
it'd
you?
be horrible to have a
Damp
dry
squid would be
squid.
the very best sort of squid.
Oh, a deep-fried squid is lush, though, isn't it?
Calamari.
You can say that as a compliment, then. What a damp
Squid. Yeah, exactly. Other things include on tender hooks instead of tenterhooks. Nipping something in the butt, which is quite a mute point instead of a moot point.
Well, it's a catch-24, isn't it?
Yeah. They're called eggcorns, as in from a mangling of acorns. There's, in lame man's terms, is used apparently, cut to the cheese. It is, isn't it? The feeble position instead of the fetal position. Which is very odd.
I've definitely had the feeble position.
Soaping wet, which is a sort of mix between sopping wet and soaking wet, I think.
That sounds filthy.
Giving up the goat.
I think that's a Welsh one, I think.
I'm so glad you put your hand up to that one. I wasn't really going to mention it. Getting your nipples in a twist.
Oh, Kath and Kim, they have a lot of these. They're always saying things wrong.
Yeah.
When she's hungry, she goes, "I'm absolutely ravishing him."
Chickens coming home to roast, I rather like. They pluck themselves as they come and just land gently on your plate.
What can't long hairs do in Italy? Mr. Baggy Pants can't do in France. Mermaids can't do in Bromsgrove. And saggers can't do in Switzerland. It is a sporting thing.
Swim?
Yes, yes.
What?
It's swimming. You're absolutely right. They are banned from swimming in public baths. Almost all public baths in France, you are only allowed to wear tight swimming trunks.
I know this.
Why?
Because we went on holiday in France, and my husband, who always wears knee-length things, was told by a very aggressive French man to go to the machine.
Yeah.
They have a machine.
They have a vending machine.
And you get these awful, like, incontinent, small, tight, like, plastic... We didn't go swimming.
You have to wear budgie smugglers.
Yeah.
That is the thing. It's to stop people wearing their clothes from outside in the pool. And in Italian pools, everybody, male or female, has to wear a swimming cap. Even if you're bald as a billiard ball, you have to wear a swimming cap.
He looks magnificent.
He does, doesn't he?
In Japan, anybody with a tattoo is banned from public baths because of the association with organised crime. And sagging, which is the fashion for wearing your pants under your trousers with the brand name of the underpants showing, that is banned in Switzerland.
And mermaids.
Mermaid tails, they are banned for safety reasons from a public pool in Bromsgrove. This has upset many mermaids.
They're not real mermaids!
Did you know you can make $10 an hour as a mermaid? Yes.
Doing what?
Well, there's a place called Wiki Wacky Springs State Park in Florida, and they have a show, which I actually saw as a child in the late 60s, which has 17 mermaids and 3 princes, and they were hiring just recently $10 an hour for a mermaid. But it's really, really difficult. So the spring is so deep that the bottom has never been found, and the current is so strong it would knock a scuba diver's mask off. Do you fancy being a mermaid?
No.
No.
I do like the idea of the place where all the men have to wear little skimpy pants. See, I like that.
You like that? Oh, yeah.
Was it Goran Ivanisevic when he won Wimbledon and he went back home and sort of ripped his trousers off in the celebration and had these tiny pants on? Everyone's going, it's absolutely disgusting, it's terrible. It was amazing. It was tennis, absolute peak fitness. There you go. Very happy.
Naturist swimming pools sometimes have a sign that says 3-piece swimming suits only. It's hat, sunglasses and sandals.
I'm wondering, right, if you had to swim in the Olympics, but without a costume, I wonder how that would affect the times.
I'll be slow right there.
Who fancies a ride in my Spike-Away non-social transient behaviour vest?
Transient behaviour.
So, a little clue, I found these in lost property. I don't know if that's of any use to you whatsoever.
Sort of travelling thing?
So, yes, travelling, to do with travelling. Non-social transient behaviour is the way people...
Oh, it's something you wear to make people not stand next to you?
Yes!
A spiky thing?
It is a spiky thing.
Yeah, my personality does the trick, but... It's a clothing version.
So, it is the way in which people on public transport try and keep the seat next to them free. So they avoid eye contact, they stretch out, they pretend to be asleep. They use the hate stare to look crazy. There was a wonderful eccentric called Gerald Tyrwhitt. He was Lord Berners. And what he used to do is, when he was on a railway carriage, he died in 1950, he used to put on a black skull cap, lean out the window and beckon people to join him. And then, if they dared to, he took out a large rectal thermometer and shoved it in his mouth every few minutes and then gloomily looked at it. But there are things you can wear. So there was a designer named Kathleen McDermott. She created a dress and it senses when people are standing too close and it inflates.
Great.
Yeah.
I love this.
Like a puffer fish.
Yes. So the other thing to have, there's a Singaporean design student called Xiu Ming Cheng made the Spike-Away vest. So what it is, it's flexible spikes that you put in the garden, you know, to keep animals away from plants. We have a couple. So what I'd like is Phil and Bridget, if you would put on the Spike-Away. And then I've got, for you, Alan...
So it just goes over the spike. They're really hurting me, the spikes.
I think they're supposed to be on the outside.
OK, so if you stand here, Alan...
Yeah.
And you two... So imagine you're minding your own business on the
lift.
tube. And you two wish that he wasn't there. So just see if you could use your Spike-Away vests to... Wow, it's...
No, they're not.
I'm loving this.
Enough.
They're not...
Hi, and welcome to Niche Porn. Now the Danish lady will burst the balloon. Oh, yeah. That's how we like it.
I've had this dream. The shoulder.
One more shoulder. Steadies himself now.
He's asking for it.
It's the most adrenaline I've ever had on this show.
Nobody's afraid of balloons, are they? That would be an awful fear.
Where did you get those tiny scissors from, you lunatic?
What's terrible is now I find out about it just 1 week after I was trapped on the tube with that lecherous balloon modeller.
I had an anxiety dream about coming on here. I was so terrified of it. And in the dream, I was sitting here, I think I was on the other side, and you were asking the question very sternly.
No.
Yes. The question was, why was the March hare so important to the Aztecs? And I didn't know the answer. And I said, did they worship it? And the screens went, worship it, worship it. Which was absolutely terrifying.
Stephen, ask the question. Let's make it happen.
Yes, come on.
I'm such an amateur, I didn't even Google the answer.
That's an amazing dream.
It is a good dream.
That's very specific. You know, it's not like... I mean, I dream, I went up to the shops and bought some milk and some bread, and I wake up, I go, oh, where is it? And...
I'm sure I went up the shop and got it, but clearly, well, that's a crazy dream. Must have been that blue cheese I had last night, but that...
Oh, yeah,
really...
Bill. Definitely the blue cheese was the issue.
Yeah, OK, all right. Blue cheese. Were you actually asleep? Or was this a sort of a premonition?
Well, we'll find out.
Well, yes, we will.
Can we just confirm this is happening now, isn't it?
Yes.
We're not in one of Vicky's dreams, because that would be...
That would be brilliant, now, wouldn't it? You could be the March Hare, I'll be the Aztecs. Right. Bring it on.
Let's get some blue cheese.
Were you actually rather giving away your strategy?
Anyway, why was the March Hare so important to the Aztecs?
You see? Thing is, Victoria, whatever you dreamt was the answer is the right answer.
Yeah.
No, but I know the answer isn't, did they worship it? Because... I think you'll find out that that's not the answer.
Yeah.
What the answer actually is... I don't know, why is a raven like a writing desk? It's that sort of question.
It is that sort of
Maybe
question.
for years people will now debate this. 50 years from now, people will be asking, why was the March Hare important to the Aztecs?
There is a kind of answer that maybe your subconscious somehow knew. They worshipped rabbits, not hares.
Yeah.
So some part of your brain knew that Aztecs worshipped rabbits.
Honestly, Aztecs worship rabbits?
It's true.
I swear to you I didn't know that. That's
I swear, and I think people are going to believe me.
I'll go even further than this. There are many people who believe that the rabbits that the Aztecs worshipped were jackrabbits, which are, in fact, technically a type of hare.
And a J word, which makes
And a J word. So, Victoria Corrin, burn the witch. You didn't see that one coming, and yet you did.
And I dreamt a thing that I didn't think I knew that you say is nearly a fact beginning with J.
Yeah.
This world is far more mysterious than we give it credit for.
Isn't it just? It's the one thing we can all agree Hitler, Stalin and Franco got right and Mussolini got wrong.
Mussolini surrendered.
There's something the three mustachioed dictators loathed and detested, but that actually Mussolini rather liked.
Pasta.
Yes.
Something you want about Simon Sharma, he'd never come up with that.
Let's stick with the letter J.
Jackets with jeans, like Clarkson.
No.
Oh, was it double denim?
That again doesn't really begin with J.
J, does it?
J. Jizz.
The 20th century.
J.
Yes! You're close. The 20th century.
I'm close.
20th century. You've only got
century.
one vowel.
Jazz.
Jazz. Jazz. Jazz music. Oh, right. I disagree with this question, basically. Our very, very naughty people have suggested that Hitler, Stalin and Franco were right for disliking jazz. I personally love jazz.
So you're saying that Hitler didn't like jazz?
Not just didn't
the
like
more
it.
I hear about this guy, the less I like it.
I know. I agree. But jazz was, to the Germans, was inimical, absolutely. They thought it was total evil. They thought it was completely against everything they stood for.
But people presumably did listen to it, though, in great numbers. There's a bit of... There's a bit of yow. There's a bit of that of an evening. And then as soon as the SS come around, turn it off.
But Mussolini, oddly enough, for all his faults, and let's face it, there were many and grievous, he listened to jazz in private. His son, Romano, was one of post-war Italy's most celebrated jazz musicians. He played with Dizzy Gillespie, Duke Ellington and Chet Baker. You can't get much higher than that in the jazz world.
I know what they mean, though. Just Bill clicking his fingers there, I felt the urge to do very bad things.
But it is an odd thing.
You know,
I got the best seat this evening.
You got it. Is that how they would scare German machine gun outposts? They just creep up and they go,
yeah. They're firing regularly and you fire syncopated.
Yeah.
But it was quite
important. I mean, I read One for the Road, and also spent a little bit of time in South Africa, and in both those places, jazz clubs are very important culturally.
Absolutely. Oh, in South America, South Africa, huge.
Underground, illegal, likely to be shut down with disastrous consequences for all who take part, but really quite important. So hard to imagine it being that.
It was a symbol of, like rock and roll, as rock and roll became, it became a symbol of defiance. And in Paris, it was hugely important, wasn't it?
Wasn't that Hitler's thing with comedy as well? Well, he didn't like Jewish comedy because he felt like if you laughed with someone, and presumably the same thing with music, if you enjoy their music, you couldn't hate them.
What you're experiencing there is cognitive dissonance.
Cognitive dissonance is exactly right.
I think you'll find your way.
Take the audience and the ladies and gentlemen at home through cognitive dissonance.
Never mind them. Take me through cognitive dissonance.
It's exactly what you described. It's the ability to hold two opposing opinions at the same time. They seem to contradict each other, but actually, yet humans can do that.
Yeah.
Here's cognitive dissonance. Here I am on QI, like you see on the television, sitting by there. It's quite nice. Everyone seems nice. I'm having a nice time.
Yeah.
And yet, we've had the question, what did Hitler get right? Which is exactly what my grandmother told me would happen if I went on television.
There's a lovely list of Victorian slang. What do these L words mean? We've got lollygagging or lollygagging, last shake of the bag, land of Scots, land of cakes, lemon squash party.
I know lollygagging.
Yeah.
That's when you squeeze too hard at the bottom of your calippo.
Oh. Followed by brain freeze.
What if you do that and you squeeze too hard, then it comes right out of the tube, but you can't deal with it all? What do? Do you bite it off?
You lollygag.
A leg maniac's one of those people whose leg twitches when they're sitting in a chair.
It would be a good name for them. I used to do that terribly as a teenager, just the endless bouncing.
I've been doing it all show.
It's very hard to stop once you start,
It's so hard, and now I'm thinking about it.
Oh,
I'm not thinking about it. Stephen Fry's thinking about it.
You should roll with it, because Michael Flatley made a living out of that.
I know one of them.
Yes, say it.
Land of Cakes is Robert Burns, isn't it?
Yes, you're absolutely right. Scotland.
Talking about Scotland.
Scotland, good. But Land of Scots, you'd think would be Scotland. It isn't. It's actually heaven. Go figure. Learning shover, you might guess.
Teacher.
Yes, quite right. You know a bit about that.
Yes, can I have a point?
Yes, you certainly can. Lollygagging, it means to flirt, Jack.
Oh, yes.
Flirting.
I did a bit of flirting, didn't I, last time I was on?
You did. You
But I
lollygagged.
decided, because it was very awkward when the show went out, and I had a very long conversation with my father. And I watched
Have you got something to tell me, Jack?
No, I looked very... I look back at it, and to be honest, I looked desperate for your affection. So this evening, I've decided to deploy a little bit of carrot and a little bit of stick.
Very good,
Because last time I showed you too much of my carrot.
A very charming carrot it was, too. Lemon squash party looks like something you could put into the internet and find...
Tennis players.
Yes. It's part of a movement that was very popular in the 19th century, a rather dull movement to many of us, perhaps. It's very straightforward. Temperance. It is an all-male party where only lemon squash was served.
I mean, we've all had a lemon squash party. It's the party that comes after the after party. Last shake of the bag.
This is my favourite.
Is that... Is it like something to do with you, like your Is it like your last child?
Yes,
child?
your youngest child.
Because it's the last
shake of the bag. It's a terrific phrase. Meet Benjamin, he's my last shake of the bag. Yes, you had teacher. Leg maniac is the only one we haven't covered, and it's just really an eccentric dancer, rather frenzied dancer.
I was right with Flatley, then.
Yes, you were, basically. They're rather pleasing. I'm particularly sorry the last shake of the bag's gone out of the language.
According to the latest research, the average person has 5 secrets which they've never told to a living soul. So I'd like tonight to hear one of yours, please.
You're looking at me.
I was, darling, but I think you've given enough.
I'll give you all 5.
OK, go.
Where I keep my keys.
Yes.
And 4 murders.
I was once walking home across Hampstead Heath and I got caught short and I had to do a poo under some leaves.
Did you have to do that 5 times?
I think 4 other secret poos that I've done, probably.
sorry, so let's just retrace our steps.
Yeah.
So you're crossing hamster teeth, trousers down.
No, I didn't have my trousers down until I needed to go.
He doesn't walk round with his trousers down, do you?
But then as I went to pull my trousers up, I slipped over and it...
Excuse me, sorry. Have you not been mocking me?
Not mocking you, I've been sympathetic.
No, you haven't. And you've shut in a bush. Did you have any paper with you?
No, I used some leaves, and that's what I slipped on. And my glasses fell off. I had to go home. And when I got home, I couldn't properly see my house. I thought, where am I going? My glasses have fallen off. And I had to go back and look for them.
How drunk were you?
It was pretty
Bit steamy. The Columbia Business School, it was a study. They used 38 categories of secrets. So there's all the normal ones that you might have, you know, stealing, cheating, fancying somebody that you shouldn't fancy and that stuff. But they also had some odd choices. So a secret opinion, not liking something that people think that you like, planning a surprise for somebody, a secret hobby. And they asked 2,000 participants if they had any of those kind of secrets.
Oh, I didn't really realise those were the parameters. I thought... Terribly humiliating event. I didn't realise, like, a secret opinion.
I like yours as a benchmark. I think it's...
Oh, he didn't on the bench as well, did he?
Can I persuade you to do what I want using only my thumb?
Well.
I think of a couple of possibilities.
Yeah. Just...
Yes.
No, I've got nothing that isn't Phil.
Nothing?
Nothing that isn't Phil.
Which is known as the thumb of power. And it's a hand gesture used very widely by modern politicians when they make speeches.
Oh, it's to stop you doing this, isn't it? To stop you going...
Yeah. But
you.
Apparently it's more powerful. Don't do that because people don't like you, but if you do that, you look like you're a powerful person.
Yeah. Never do that as a politician.
No. There's a science of oratorical hand gestures, and it's called chironomia, and it was set out in precise detail in 95 AD, so a really long time ago, Quintilian's Institutio Oratoria. It says here, one of the commonest of all the gestures consists in placing the middle finger against the thumb and extending the remaining three. It is suitable in the statement of facts, but in that case, the hand must be moved with firmness and a little further forward, while, if we're reproaching or refuting our adversary, the same movement may be employed with some vehemence and energy, since such passages permit of greater freedom of extension.
I tell you who does this.
Yes.
I think Paulie Walnuts and The Sopranos.
Does he?
And Spider-Man.
But the study of oratory and rhetoric dates back a really long time, and there's all sorts of rules about classic rhetoric based around the rule of three, which is the same as in comedy. So, Tricolon, I came, I saw, I conquered, or Veni, Vidi, Visa, I came, I saw, I shopped. Molossus, so that's 3 stressed syllables, yes, we can. And epizeuxis, so location, 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 when you repeat the same word over and over again. But it hasn't changed, it hasn't changed. So you get ethos, logos, and pathos. Those are the 3 modes of persuasion. So ethos is how you establish the credibility of the speaker. So watch QI, I'm on it. Logos, you present the logical argument, watch QI, it's really good. And pathos, appeal to the emotions, watch QI, or we shoot this kitten. I'm just using it as a rough example. There have been manuals about how you gesture since there have been speeches. This is a wonderful one.
Well, I've done this on a stag do. Zone football, it's called. It's a right laugh. 12 of you, boom, boom. We didn't dress like that.
Bob dob do. Bob dob do. Bob dob do. Oh. I think he might be learning the Macarena. Sure.
And politicians can't help but use them. My favourite example is Richard Nixon. On the day that he was made to resign as president, that's what he chose to do as he left. He clearly hadn't got the message, it hadn't gone all that well.
I think I could play a young Nixon.
Yes, actually, that's slightly terrifying, isn't
it?
And Angela Merkel always held her hands like that. In fact, in Germany, it's known as the Merkel Raute, the Merkel diamond. That's just how she always holds her hands. And Trump also, lots of signature hand signals.
When Donald Trump took to office, little did he know.
Angela Merkel's one. It's like she's going to go open the door, see all the people.
It does. So we have the steeple, and then, oh, look. Oh, there's no British people. Don't you think, Victoria, when you have your photograph taken, it's awkward to know what to do with your hands, isn't it? If you're a woman, especially, you can't sort of put your hands in your pockets, can you?
No, yes, terrible. I've read things that say, you know, if you put 1 foot forward, you look thinner.
I like the idea of the 1 foot forward.
Just do that. Always just do that.
Why is that?
Because people will always remember you.
This man's bare bottom helped Britain win World War I.
He looks really different with his suit off, doesn't he? Like, you wouldn't even know that was him.
Give us a clue about the man. Did something go into his bottom or come out of it?
Well... The man is called William Lawrence Bragg. He was a physicist. He was a Nobel laureate. In fact, he remains the youngest recipient of the Nobel Prize. He received it in 1915, along with his father, his famous physicist. In 1915, he was serving as a subaltern in Flanders, trying to find out ways to use sound to locate enemy artillery. So one day, he's sitting on the latrine at the house where he was billeted, a little tight little closet with no window at all, and he'd shut the door, and so that there was no other opening to the outside world apart from the one that he was sitting on. And he noticed that when there was gunfire nearby, his backside momentarily lifted off the seat. Even when he didn't really hear the explosion, there was a sort of a thing like this. And meanwhile, another physicist he was working with, a man called William Tucker, was billeted in a tar paper hut, and he noticed that by his cot there were just a couple of little holes, and even on a day when there was no wind, little puffs of air were blowing through. And they compared notes, the two, and the one from the loo and one from these two little holes, and they deduced that this was the result of inaudible, low-frequency sounds of artillery. And they set about devising detectors, and by 1917 it was so advanced that the Allies had a really devastating advantage in locating and targeting enemy guns. And it all came about because his backside lifted off the lavatory.
This is maybe the most inspiring story I've ever heard. About a lavatory? About a men's toilet and holes in a wall. Normally these end super differently.
Yeah.
Normally it's and they had to shut down that garage. and did they have to use his specific arse on all of
No,
this?
I don't.
You didn't have to go around the whole... there.
But that's how he discovered it. There are still 40,000 outside lavatories in the UK.
I'm surprised they've not all been turned into serial cafes or something. That's the sort of thing that people keep doing now, turning toilets into bars.
Yeah, there's one not far from here.
Yeah?
It's a toilet.
Turn into a bar?
It's called the toilet, I think.
I think he said that's the one thing he said.
Where you go to the loo, God knows. You can go up the street and do it up the side of a pub. Like...
There used to be a thing when people were peeing up the sides of buildings. Boys, let's be honest. Boys peeing outside buildings.
And talented girls.
Yeah, and very talented girls. Lots of London buildings had special tilted metal bars so that if somebody did pee against it, the pee would splash back on the person's shoes. The most southerly public loo in Britain is on the island of the Minkies. Here's a picture of it. It says, this toilet has the distinction of being the most southern building in the British Isles. Please use with care, as the nearest alternative is in Jersey, which is 11 miles away.
It looks like those rocks are leaning against the toilet.
It looks like they're queuing up, doesn't it?
It does look like a queue, doesn't it? They've solidified waiting. And here's another coronation that was not without its controversies. Have a careful look at this and tell me what's not right. First of all, do we know which coronation it is?
Yeah, well, it's Queen Victoria.
So did anybody know what went wrong?
They crowned the wrong woman. A lady called Karen was crowned. She ruled for 80 years.
In a way, it's almost what happened. It's 5 hours it was. So, first of all, the Archbishop of Canterbury forced the coronation ring onto the wrong finger. It caused her severe pain, and they couldn't get it off afterwards. And 3 years later, he did exactly the same thing at her wedding. He was just not ring-savvy, the Archbishop of Canterbury. Then the Bishop of Bath and Wells accidentally turned over 2 pages in the service book, and he cut out the whole section where they made her queen.
That whole section, that's surely the whole coronation, isn't it?
So
the bit where they make her queen.
The coronation was invalid, and in fact she had left the Abbey before they realised, and she had to come back and do it again. I love that. They had to do a retake. And then, as the lords were being presented to her, the elderly, rather aptly named Lord Roll, became globally famous for tripping over on the steps leading to the throne and rolling all the way down.
Oh.
But apparently she didn't endear herself to the public until that moment, and when Lord Roll fell down the stairs, she got up and tried to help him, and then after that they thought, oh, she's...
Because she was very young, wasn't she?
She was a teenager. I mean, it must have been an unbelievable thing. Name some common Egyptian characters. Egyptian. Oh, yes?
The Eye of Horus.
What are the chances?
I want to know why the Eye of Horus isn't a common Egyptian character.
Because it's a hieroglyph, and hieroglyphs were only used for special occasions.
Ah.
So they were not common. In
Well,
fact,
I think you'll find that there were many special occasions in Egyptian.
yes.
life.
Obviously. The thing is, a normal everyday form of writing in Egyptian was hieratic. So it's a simplified version. It's a much more cursive version. There it is.
That's a rarefied klaxon.
Frankly,
Yes?
Victoria, they've set you up there.
Yes,
somewhat.
can only describe it as a trap. So you have them on Early Connect, do you not, hieroglyphs? Use them?
Yeah, we do.
Yes.
In our first series, it was Greek letters.
Right.
And people wrote in and said, we like the show, but we find that pretentious. So we began, I think, Series 3 with an apology, saying we'd like to say sorry to everyone that's been enjoying the show, but they found the Greek letters a bit pretentious. We've listened. It's your BBC. You reached out. We've heard you. Please choose your Egyptian hieroglyph.
Well, they're for special occasions, you see.
Yeah.
The thing is that they can have multiple meanings. So sometimes they just represent the thing they're drawing. So it could be a saw of some kind, it could be a tool of some kind, it could be something else. So the nose hieroglyph, for example, means smell or joy or contempt. But no vowels. Again, they're like the only connect thing you have around, don't you, with no vowels. There are no vowels in ancient Egyptian hieroglyphs, so we have no idea how it would have sounded. So King Ramesses could be King Ramesses. We don't know.
But that's impossible because, you know... Well, I suppose you can manage without vowels. Because when it comes to diction, vowels for volume, consonants for clarity. As in the exercise that is performed by actors, you repeat the following. Hip bath, lavatory, lavatory, bidet, douche.
And that was Are these all things you're advertising?
Presumably, these people aren't bored or tired, so why are they yawning?
Jim, before... You can't even get to the end of the thing.
We used to think that it gave us extra oxygen, but it absolutely does not do that. But it may be that it regulates the brain temperature by cooling the blood on the way to the brain, and that makes us more alert. So some people now do it in sport, not because they're stressed, but because they're trying to get themselves as ready as they can. What is amazing about it, it does seem to be contagious, but only some people are susceptible to it. It rather depends on how much empathy they have. If you have more empathy, you're more likely, as it were, to catch a yawn. And yawns are not catching at all in children under the age of 4, because before the age of 4, you haven't developed any empathy. But virtually all vertebrates yawn. So fish, snakes, but only humans and chimpanzees, dogs, budgies have contagion of yawning.
Fish are yawning?
Yes.
That puts an entirely different perspective on fish now, doesn't it?
There's even interspecies contagion of yawning. So a human and a dog might, one yawns and then sets the other one off.
Oh,
so
that's me now.
That's so sweet. And you're going to love this. Babies yawn in the womb. Have a look at this tiny bit of footage.
Yeah, he's yawning, Sandy. He's yawning. He's yawning.
Here's a good word to take away, which I really love. Pandiculation. Pandiculation is yawning and stretching at the same time. And just for any women who are using Prozac or using antidepressant drugs, there is a side effect that you can get, which is the yawning orgasm, is that you have an orgasm every time you yawn.
That takes me back to my honeymoon.
What am I saying here?
Oh, adorable. I mean, it's time for tea. Get all your mallard friends. I've laid out the area.
But do not bring bread.
Yes, no, bread is very bad for ducks. That's a very good point. But you mentioned mallards. Most ducks don't quack. But it is predominantly female mallards who make this particular noise. And why do you think they make it?
Is it a duck rape alarm? Because isn't that a famous thing? Consent is not big in the duck world.
No, not at all. They're nasty to each other sometimes. Yeah.
Yes, and I think the mating thing is pretty horrible. Hashtag quack quack.
They mate for life, and they're in love. I believe that. I saw it on a Valentine's card.
That's swans.
Yeah. Yes, the sex act is a forced one for ducks.
Yeah, and they chase them down, and then they keep their face out the water by holding their neck up with a beak.
Very unpleasant.
And then they impose themselves upon the female. In the middle of Hampstead Heath.
It's not So the females give these bouts of loud, monotonous quacks, particularly during their pre-laying period. Why might they do that?
But is it because they're fertile?
It is because they're fertile, but it isn't what you might think, which is that they're looking for a mate, because they quite often will do it when the mate is right there. Weirdly, we now think it's because they're drawing the attention of any predatory mammals who might be in the area. So what they want to do is, if the predators come, they think, not going to stay here and nest, it's not safe. And so they're actually trying to attract the very thing that might have a go at them.
Gosh, that's clever, isn't
it? It's clever,
yes,
isn't it?
Yes, like leaving your car doors unlocked if you go to look round a house.
Yeah, exactly that, yeah.
Exactly.
OK, I haven't thought of doing that, but that's very clever. The other possibility, of course, is that there's already a pair of ducks there and they're sending out a message saying, we've moved in, don't any other ducks come, because this is our place, so go away. But now, let's all have a go. You've all got a duck caller. There is a human sport of duck calling, so trying to get the waterfowl to come in order to be shot, and the best duck callers take part in a World Championship duck calling contest, which is in Arkansas in every Thanksgiving.
Well, why don't we all go?
I don't know.
Why aren't we there?
I know. Let's see if we're good enough. Victorian children used to make their bird callers by cutting the larynx from a recently dead goose. Yeah, and blowing through it.
Oh, thank God television was invented.
I know.
Look at what they used to do if a child had no legs.
Who first used the expression OMG?
Was it Hannah Montana?
It wasn't Hannah Montana.
That's my guess.
It was a good guess. A reasonable guess.
I'm guessing that in the past it's meant something else.
No, as oh my God.
Oh my God.
Jesus.
Oh my God.
Not... No, this is genuinely the use of OMG in a communication.
Is it going to be on a Morse code?
No, though, funnily enough, you're in the right area. It was
military.
Kissinger?
It's not military, naval. It was two of the great naval figures of the First World War. Who was the First Lord of the Admiralty during
Churchill. I have no idea.
Churchill. Winston Churchill. But the great Lord Fisher, in 1917, wrote a letter to Winston Churchill saying, I hear that a new order of knighthoods is on the tapis, meaning on the carpet. OMG, shower it on the Admiralty. So there you are. Oh, my God.
What year was that, sorry?
1917.
OMG.
Yeah,
That's
OMG.
a really good fact.
That's a good fact, isn't it?
Can we be certain he meant, oh, my God? He might have meant...
Yes, no, he definitely did. He put, oh, my God, in brackets afterwards. He wrote OMG
that
brackets.
rather ruined the point of
Yeah, I know. As he was the first user, I guess he had to explain it.
OMG, by which I mean, of course, the longer expression, oh my God.
Oh my God.
Eric Partridge's Dictionary of Abbreviations in 1942 contained dozens of SMS-friendly examples, such as AGN for again, MTH for month, and GD for good. So they pre-existed.
But I heard someone vocalise LOL. I actually heard someone said LOL as opposed to laugh. There's two kids in the street, and I told them a joke, and she went, LOL, like that.
Rather than laugh.
Rather than laugh.
Yeah.
That's just some horrible post-Orwellian nightmare.
It is.
Amazing. How amazing is that going to be at stand-up gigs if people just, an audience starts
Exactly.
going,
LOL. Yeah. Let's just try it. No, after three. I'll just say the word LOL with as little expression as you can. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. LOL. That's the...
Tim Minchin has actually suggested that because people don't laugh out loud when they say lol, that he suggests MAS, mildly amused smirk. Which would be quite good, because that's what happens.
Nelly is another one that you could have.
Yeah?
Nelly, N-E-L-I, not even laughing inwardly.
But you'd be impressed to know that in 1659 is the first use of to unfriend.
which we thought was a modern Facebook phrase, but to unfriend was used by Thomas Fuller, who wrote to theologist John Heylin, "I hope, sir, that we are not mutually unfriended by this difference which hath happened betwixt us."
Yes, and then I believe his friend wrote back that he liked that message.
Yeah, he liked that.
Thank you for watching. Do remember to subscribe to the QI channel and click here to watch more videos. Well, please, come on, pick something. 19.